Hello guys. So in this specific session, I'll talk about strengths and weaknesses. Now, very general question which is asked in a lot of interviews. Tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. Now, as I've already mentioned in one of my lecture that strengths is something which you should not mention during your tell me about yourself question. So make sure you remember that. Now, strength is something which either you portray in a different manner when a question is asked like that, or if someone directly asks you, okay, yes, tell me about your strengths, you speak. So here we go. Now, before I start with exactly what you should talk during your strength, let us understand what is the meaning. Now, this is where, as I always tell, say that the logical thinking about what you need to talk about your strengths. And I'll tell you why a few strengths should not be mentioned, right? So let's say there's one there. Let's understand what is strength, and I'll give you an example for this now. Now, strength basically means something which is different, something which is extra. So let's take an example of, let's say, classroom in Mumbai. So let's say we are a coaching center, right? We have classrooms in Mumbai. A student comes and asks us, sir, what are your strengths? And I tell him we have AC in our classroom. Let's understand this, please. I say that we have AC in our classroom. Now, having AC cannot be a strength. The reason being, AC is something which is compulsory. So anything which is compulsory can never be a strength. Having an AC is not something extraordinary. It is not something which means, in fact, if you don't have an AC, it's wrong. You cannot run a coaching center, right? So something which is normal, something which you should be having. I'm not using some management jargons here because a lot of you might not understand. Something which is compulsory, something which should be there, cannot be a strength. So let's understand. Now this is going to become interesting because I guarantee a lot of people give these strengths which they should never, guys. So welcome to reality. Don't write these as a strengths. Now, see, again, my point here is why not these as strengths? Trust me, you understand this. It's easier to crack these interviews because 90% of the students or 90% of the people fail. Why? Because they say all these things as their strength. Now, hardworking. Come on, yeah. See, again, you are supposed to be hardworking. Okay, उसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है वो तुमको होना ही चाहिए मतलब is this something extraordinary? People are supposed to be hardworking. How can you be not hardworking? So when you mention this is your strength, it cannot be. ये तो होना ही है. This is compulsory. This is like AC in a classroom. Compulsory AC होना classroom के अंदर. In a city like Mumbai, let's say. So same thing. If you are a human being, you're supposed to be hardworking. So when you say that no, hardworking is something different. So that which means are you not human being? See, hardworking cannot be a strength, guys. So I hope you understand this is going to be a very different video than you watch somewhere else. Same thing, honesty. How can honesty be your strength? You go to an interviewer and tell him, so my strength is I'm honest. The other people are not honest, no? How are you assuming that? This cannot be a strength again. You're supposed to be honest. Now in reality, in real world, people are not honest, that's okay. But you're supposed to be honest. Right? There's nothing special about that. And exactly same thing with positive attitude. Means again, I give this answer, that see people say that sir, I have that positive attitude to work. Which means you should not have had positive attitude. You should have negative attitude for everything. Is that the normal? Right? Having negative attitude is normal, right? No, which means ये normal है. ये आपको positive होना ही है life में. What's big deal about this? So these are not extraordinary things. You are supposed to have this, and anything which is compulsory, which you are supposed to have, cannot be strength. Strength is something which others might not have, which are different than others. Right? Let's go to what strengths you can mention. Leadership skills. Yeah. Now, now let's see why this can be a strength. Right? Because not having leadership skills, someone who doesn't have leadership skill You can't do say okay, you don't have leadership skill, so you cannot be a human being. No, nothing like that. It's okay. There are people who won't have leadership skill. It's okay. See, I hope you understand the difference. When you say you're not hardworking, you're not supposed to be human being at all. You're supposed to be hardworking. It is compulsory. Whereas for normal human beings, it is not necessary to have leadership skills. नहीं है, मैं leader नहीं हूँ तो नहीं हूँ, मेरी मर्जी, उसमें क्या हो गया, right? So if you have leadership skills, it's a trait which you have. It's a different skill you have, right? So see, I've just given a few examples which you can mention as strengths. Now, when you talk of your strengths, let's understand. सब मत लिख देना भाई. Point number 1, right? Mention 2 or 3 only, maximum 3 strengths, right? Now again, a very very important point coming up कि strength ऐसे ही नहीं लिखना. हाँ, leadership, हाँ हम leader हैं, right? Please judge yourself, look into your life of last, let's say 7-8 years and see इसमें से कौन सा और 15-20 और हो सकते हैं. आप चेक करो कि क्या strength है, right? The previous 3-4 जो मैंने बताए जो compulsory होना चाहिए लाइफ में, वो मत लिखो, right? Now, when you mention whatever is your strength, how do you find out whether this is your strength or not? Or how do you portray this to your interviewer? Let's understand. There is something called car approach. And when I say car approach, it means you have to use this car approach. Remember, this is what people don't do. And although they might talk right here, but still, because they don't use this approach of saying it, they lose marks. So I'll tell you how. Car challenge, action taken, and the result. So let's understand what is this now. When I say car approach, it means when you are talking about, let's say, leadership skill, you can't just say, sir, my strengths are leadership skill and multitasking, and then keep quiet. No. You have to give an example wherein you have used this, wherein this is shown. कैसे? उसको बोलना नहीं कि सर मैं कार अप्रोच यूज कर रहा हूं. No, nothing like that. You have to say that, sir, some challenge you had faced in your life, some problem you had faced in your life, some difficulty you had faced in your life, in which you had to use your strength of leadership skill, or whatever you are mentioning as your strength, or your multitasking skill. So, sir, ये problem हुआ था. During one of these issues, I used my leadership skills to take this action. Because of this skill, because of this action, I got this positive result. So just to give you an example, just a small example. Let's say multitasking. So I'm good in multitasking. So how? So during my college days, suddenly a cultural event came up, which was important, and exactly at the same time I had my internal exams also, right? So I had to manage both of these, and then one of my cousin delivered a baby boy, and we wanted to organize a big function also for that. Just a random example, and managing 3 things at a time was very critical, and all of these very important. So I divided my time accordingly so that I can perform all these tasks properly. And I did this, I did this, I did this, that, because of which all these things went very well. And I'm just giving you an example. You don't have to use these words. I did this, that. Give actual example. Right? From 4 to 6, I used to make sure that I deal with my college faculties, and in the evening 8 to 10 p.m. we used to practice for a dance function, and at the night I used to study for my internal exams also, and because of this my result was also decent and the function also went well. That's it. Please understand, you are providing, it's a framework basically. There was a issue which you had, there was a problem you faced, and the action you took using this strength, and the final result. That's how you mention your strength. You just don't go out in the market and tell कि हाँ सर strength multitasking से बहुत अच्छा multitasking है. क्यों? हाँ सर वो तो मैं करते रहता हूँ. ये क्या करते रहता है भाई? I hope you understand. Leadership skills. I'll give you one more example. Exactly the same thing. Car approach. चैलेंज फेस लीडरशिप स्किल क्या चैलेंज था? Yes, sir. During my see, I'm just giving random example. My work life. One of the project was not getting completed on time, and people were not. They all the my team members thought that this work will never get finish on time. But then I thought that let's give it a chance. So I made sure that I had a word with all my team members properly. I gave them specific tasks to each people that let's not bother about the time limit. Let's focus on each work at a time, right? Every person was given individual task, right? Because of which we were able to finish our task on time, right? Something of this sort. Wherein you show that yes, you can lead a group of 6, 7 people on your own or 10 people, whatever. I hope you understand this. So, simple mentioning your strengths will not work. It has to be about the card approach also. Next is yes, obviously weaknesses. Tell me about your strengths and tell me about your weaknesses. So yeah, please. Now this is a very tricky question. Basically, never mention your actual direct weakness. It's like, so I get up late in the morning. Come on, if you get up late in the morning, I should not hire you. I should not take you in my college, whatever the scene might be. So point number one, think of a weakness which is a weakness. I'm strong-headed, I become angry, or you know, people use my politeness. ऐसा कुछ तो, and mention it. No issues with that. But make sure it is not a negative trait altogether. मैं लेट ही उठता हूँ अरे क्या नहीं चलेगा. It should not be a negative trait. It's a normal mistake which you do. Let's say लोग आपका यूज ज्यादा करते हैं, आप बहुत जल्दी लोगों से घुल मिल जाते हो तो लोग आपको मिसअंडरस्टूड कर जाते हैं, something of that sort. But that is not important here. People do mention that. The important is, are you working on it? Are you working to improve on it? Right, that is what you should mention, that yes, sir, in last couple of months or so, or couple of years, whatever it is, I have started working on this weakness of mine to improve on the same. That is what is important, right? Again, you have to focus more on your strengths and not much on weaknesses. And if at all they insist you to put your weaknesses, mention something which is not negative trait, something which is a little which is not positive. That's it, right? Some पूरा negative बोल दिया तो problem हो जाएगा. Mention a few points or a couple of points, and make sure you mention about how you are improving on that. That is what will give you marks. I hope you understand, and I hope it definitely helps you. That's it. Thank you.